Yep.
But I think that brings up a critical point that we've talked about before, is that the communication is so important, so that trust is there between parent, between school, between student, and between teacher, that those conversations can take place.
Right.
Because it's when they don't take place that we have difficulties meeting the needs of the kids, because if parents, sometimes we get pitted against each other, and that does not benefit the child in any way,
it doesn't.
shape,
And
or
also,
form.
I, as a parent, I know of one of the parent things to do is you want to go talk to the other people, people outside of the situation, your friends and all that kind of stuff, and that doesn't do any good. It just just builds and snowballs that situation, and the best thing to do is to come and talk to, first of all, the teacher,
Absolutely.
and then if you can't get anywhere, then you go higher up. But I have never had to do that. So,
but those are good. Those are good points to communicate, because it's not always the perfect fit.
Right.
And so to know that communication piece is so important between parent and teacher.
And as a teacher, I want to know if there's something, if I did something wrong, or if there's something that we can work on to do even better. Let's communicate, and I want to do my very best for every student that I have. So I appreciate that communication. It goes both ways. Yeah.
I love getting pictures of the kids on Class Dojo, and good, I love that. It's my favorite. It's actually Jillian is a lot better. Actually, this past week, she's been wanting to talk more about school and what she's doing. So I'm taking that as probably, she just had her tonsils out. So I think I think I'm seeing a little bit of a difference there. And then after the Wright flight program.
That was awesome.
So what did you lit up during that? So what did you think about?
I saw a change in her immediately. Her behavior was even different. She came in with, she's telling, the confidence, and she's telling me about it, and she said there was the video, and it was something that was,
it triggered in her.
Yeah, it really did.
She got to do something not everybody got to do.
Yeah, it was just amazing to see what a difference that made in her.
Oh, I'm getting goosebumps.
I know. Now this is because this is a few months later. That was January, and this is the 1st of May today. Not when you guys see this, but has that changed?
It's only increased. Yeah. She's just fabulous, and we did an American Revolution play, and she was one of, had a part in there, and, just her speaking up and making sure the camera could hear her, and she had her lines, and she knew exactly where to come in, and she's just blossomed. It's amazing.
But these are the benefits of inclusion.
Exactly.
And not just inclusion, but using our model of enrichment through the gifted and talented. We're not just taking a few kiddos that we're identifying as, well, you guys are the elite. To do that. It's all kids. And if we did not have that model here, she never would have had that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Right. And that to me is like, that's all that makes me so sad to think that. So to schools and people that are listening out there, don't be afraid of the work that needs to be done to make this happen. Because when you see kids like this, like Jillian, having that kind of impact and that change in who she is,
huge.
And she's got it. I'm so glad to hear that she's using her voice.
Yes,
and because she's definitely has a lot. She's got a lot to say, and I can tell as she grows more confident, then she's able to speak out more. And I want her to be her own advocate, and Ben will advocate for himself up one side and down the other. But Jillian has a lot more wisdom than Ben, and I'd like for that to come out even more.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why today she was excited to get back on the bus. I think she craves that independence, and being back in the classroom and getting back to her routine again, and it's pretty cool.
That is cool.
So, Mrs. Torp, what, if any, advice would you have for a teacher who maybe is coming in like you did, not necessarily knowing the ins and outs of what the needs are of Ben and how you are working with other adults because they're supporting Ben? What kind of advice would you have?
Well, I would say don't be scared, because to me it's the most wonderful thing. I look at these kids and I think how fortunate they are to grow up with differences, and that's okay, and to develop those friendships that I didn't get to do, or those, just getting to know different people. So don't be afraid of it would be for, my first advice. And then it is really important to have that communication with everybody that is working with the child, and that needs to be ongoing, because so many they grow so much and they change so much. But really, just having that communication, not being afraid. I have to let Ben. I have to kind of see what works. Maybe I want him to do something, but that doesn't mean that's how it's going to be. So I really have to take his direction a lot. And the people working with him, you have to take their direction, because if they're working with him, it has to work. Let me explain this a little better. So like if I have them wanting to do a particular task with Ben, but I see that the person who's supporting it maybe doesn't understand, or it's harder for them to do that task with Ben, get him excited or whatever, then I have to change that again.
Be flexible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the big thing, is being flexible and just understanding that it looks different, and that's okay. I might have him under a table counting or saying the alphabet, because that's where I have him.
That's where he wants
where
to
his
be.
attention is right there,
right
at that moment. So, and that's okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to look the same for every kid.
Exactly.
Not every kid. That's what another thing I love about our environment here, is that not every kid learns from sitting in a desk, with their feet on the ground and their hands. No, we need to let go of that type of visual or model, because we all learn differently. We all have different needs, and so let's allow the kids to have that opportunity.
Yeah, and I was thinking while you were talking about how we're talking about differences and stuff like that. I would think that Ben and Jillian, both being who they are, just who they are, would allow their peers to know that their own differences are okay, and that they should be able to embrace them and stuff. And I don't know, I would think that would be
well. And sometimes the kids in the class will try to do things for Jillian. She does not like that. And she lets them know that I can do this by myself. Thank you. I think the biggest moment for me this year too is because she has a one-on-one aide in class, and her aide will help her when we're taking 2-column notes and stuff like that. Well, Jillian's decided, because we've been doing this long enough, that she can do it by herself, and she did. She sat there and she took her notes and she worked with us, and it was awesome. So she likes that independence. She says, "No, I can do this myself."
Yeah. And I see that too. Everybody, at Ben's age, everybody wants to do it for him, and he will, me do it. I'll do it. So that's another thing, is you have to back off, and sometimes he can be a handful, but I have to look at the big picture, and does that matter, or does it matter that he just did this for you or whatever? So, and you have to be careful about letting everybody do everything for him, because they do. I watch him now from the beginning of the year, where when he first came into my classroom. I didn't really want to turn my back, because he can be for everywhere. That's just Ben. Now I have no problem. I know what he's doing, and he's curious, but he's not going to hurt anything. And so.
But again, if that's for any kid, if you raise the bar and say, no, you're going to go to this level. Whoever they're going to go to that level, but as adults, it's really hard for us to back off and give them that independence, because we want to constantly help or do it for them. But that struggle is so good for them, because it builds grit, and it gets them to understand that mistakes are okay. But as long as I push through, eventually I'm going to get it.
I was just dealing with that with Jillian and her medication, her pain medication from the tonsillectomy, and I was like, you know what? I think it was probably Saturday, I decided that I would start letting her moderate when she needed medication. And if her throat started hurting really bad because she didn't want to take medication, then her throat hurt really bad. And so that's a hard thing for a mom. And then with Ben is so tiny and so short that everybody wants to do everything for him. And I have friends who have kids with Down syndrome that are very tiny, I just remember them saying, "Don't pick her up, because she's not a doll, she's not a baby," and
it's true though. As adults, I mean, we have to be reminded of that.
And let's face it, if somebody's going to do something for me, I'll let them.
Yeah, and then that creates what that we refer to as learned helplessness, which is the exact opposite of what we want to see in these kids and building their independence so they can be successful members of our community, which we know that they're going to be because of this strong foundation that they're getting of being included in all the same opportunities as any other kid.
And they're having a community grow up with them, and that's the key thing. Right. It's not just Jillian that's going to step out and do it. Jillian's going to step out and do it, but she's going to have a community around her that says, you can do it, and go for it.
And that's to me been the best part, is just seeing the friendships that develop and just the care, and I just know that's going to go all the way through high school. The kids that are around, that stay in the same area. It's so cool to see that.
And it's authentic. That's the thing that gets me, because I've been at other schools and they have these buddy systems, and they're doing this and they're doing this, and it's the adults setting all those relationships up.
And it's the kids who are gifted that get to go out and be the buddies, and that's not.
But this is authentic, These are relationships that are truly,
like they have truly picked the friends they like, just like we do, and they develop those friendships on their own.
Sometimes they even have their own little fights.
Absolutely,
I love that. I love that.
It's all those things that they need to experience.
It's real, though.
Exactly.
It's real. Exactly. Which is going to make, like you said, as they grow up, it's going to continue to grow, and they're going to continue to have that community that just, hey, okay, let's go do this. Let's go do this.
And they'll be included, and nobody will think anything differently.
It's pretty cool.
It's good.
It's so cool.
It's good.
It's exciting.
Yes, it is exciting.
So what do you guys see moving forward? What are you thinking as far as, your careers and what you've done as far as growing and stepping outside the box, or even what Cindy and I like to call or ask. We like to ask everything. I'll just throw this in there now.
Yeah, go for it.
You guys know how to eat an elephant, right?
One piece at a time.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're here. We're taking a bite out of inclusion, the elephant in education.
So one bite at a time is what we feel like we're doing. So as far as your careers and growth go, what do you think that this process has helped you in moving forward?
You start.
Oh my goodness. Well, definitely just having the patience and understanding just, you do have to step back, but you have to provide those expectations. It has made me very interested in just learning about all sorts of different disabilities and how to support those kids. I love the age group I'm working with because they are so forgiving, and there can be so much growth. I think it would be harder at an older grade where they come in and just don't have that foundation yet. Whereas, I get to do more than just academics. I get to do all the social emotional learning and all those things. So for me, I think that has helped me become a much better teacher because I have that empathy and the patience that you need, because it is tough.
Absolutely.
But I wouldn't want it any other way. I don't.
Yeah. Well, I've gone into my career.
Exactly.
There
I was
is
the
no
same
other
way. Same thing for me too. I don't know any different.
Right.
And last year when I saw Ben, I was like, oh, I hope I get that little guy. It doesn't scare me. To me, I love having just the experience of what that classroom will feel like at the end of or mid-year when it's just a family. And again, I've told you this, how fortunate we are to get to be a part of that.
And the kids get something that his peers get something that peers in a different school or class
yes,
wouldn't
then
get.
they don't. Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I of course everything that you've already said. I have gained a better understanding. Like you had touched on, like that fear, because I wasn't quite sure what my role was. Obviously, no longer there, and I would hope too that I could spread that and better educate everybody else too that I come in contact with, because I think that's really important. And I'll always remember when you came in and read to the class and the things that you've said. And I just thought that was so beautiful, the way you put things, and the way that Jillian even spoke about herself and brought that understanding, and she was advocating for herself right there. And I love that.
Oh, thanks.
It takes a village.
It does.
I mean, it's a whole community effort.
It is amazing.
And when we're all there, that's where we see the changes happen. So thank you guys for everything that you do
we did
every
not
day.
mention what her T-shirt says.
We forgot your shirt.
So what is the special day for
So
you?
it's our pet drive that we are starting today. So this is just our shirt from the Humane Society. What our school does is we collect goods, all sorts of different things for pets, and we donate it to the Humane Society.
Yeah.
So this is my shirt to promote that.
Yay.
Today's the first day, even though it's not the first day when they see.
Yeah, no, it's not. And today is May 1st, which is...
I don't know. I have a bunch of cool gifts everywhere for some reason.
What is the official title? Is it National Principals Day, or is it...
I think it's just Principal Appreciation.
Principal Appreciation
and
Day.
I always felt I'm very appreciated today. You guys everyone made me feel so special.
You are
supportive.
Thank you.
You are, and it is to have. Gosh darn it! I'm so emotional right now. To have you do what you do, and you lead your school. It's made it possible for my children and my family and me personally to be more enriched and to really be able to embrace my family even more and to do the things that I do even more. So sorry about that. You guys, it is. I know, and I can't thank you enough as a mom. And I know that
we just love you.
Thanks, Poppy.
Here we go. So it is just a huge blessing. And I have said this before. I have friends that don't have this. I have a lot of friends that don't have this, and I want you to know that I totally. Don't take it for granted, and anything I can do to support you all in the future, even if you don't have a Schultz in your class.
I will.
I would.
I'll have that everyone.
I think it's been decided.
Yeah. He's already coming in. He knows where to go.
Absolutely.
It is good. So another one under our belt. It was good.
And don't forget to like.
Yes,
Facebook,
I always forget this. So we're on Facebook, and we're on Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest. You can follow me on Pinterest. That's been going up really fast. That's good. So that's good. And make sure when you follow us that you like and you comment and you subscribe, because that raises our rankings especially with YouTube, so that our videos will become more prevalent on the whole genre of YouTube. So
because we want to get the message out there. So it's such an important message.
And my website is nevereasyalwaysgood.com. So just do a search and you'll find us.
All right.
So
thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Bye.